doing good. It's so good to see you, girl.
What's up? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Like, I've been following everything and watching everything. And I don't know, I think we were already kind of following each other. And then I happened to see you was starting to film. And I was like, okay, let me see what she got going on and let me reach out because, I feel like, you got to definitely tell your story and we got to let the people know who Nikki is because I know that sometime as a child of, somebody that's done a lot in the world, sometimes that you get shadowed behind that and people don't really get to know who you are, so let the people know who you are. Introduce yourself. Welcome to JohnaeTv.
Well, I'm Nikki. I'm from Nikki Cold Beach, but I go by Nikki. I am a mom. I'm a wife, entrepreneur, just getting my brand out, which is a good thing worldwide. And I saved the best for last. I just so happen to be the daughter of the world-renowned Dorinda Clark Cole, who is one of the sisters of the Clark sisters.
Right.
And road manager, assistant, whatever, all the above. I take care of them. Look out.
Wow.
And
that's amazing.
Queen.
And the what?
The BTS queen that is behind the scenes.
Right, absolutely. You are a beast at doing everything behind the scenes, and that was by choice, right?
Definitely. Of course, we all have our passion, and just so happened to be that it wasn't singing, but I, stayed in the lane of the music industry. But it just so happened about handling the business of it.
Mm-hmm. Right. So we all know you as Nikki. But your name is Nakia. So what's the difference between Nikki and Nakia?
Well, Nakia has a little class and sass to her. She would be the good thing, which is the THYNG, more contemporary, conservative, laid back, growing into being that woman. But of course, Nikki, you get the hood, slightly hood swag, in between, raw, all the above, mixture of, just tell it like it is. You don't like it, no matter what.
Wow, that's amazing because, I feel like, you have to wear both hats. Like you're not just one thing because you were born into something. Like, you have your own personality, you have your own thing going on. So, and it's things that you had to learn coming up as understanding who you were inside and not worrying about what everybody else feels and how everybody's going to judge you. You had to experience your own lane to have your own experience. So how do you feel about that?
I mean, that's a good question because I bring it up a lot now since I've been doing these interviews, but with nepotism, I think that it's so much of an expectancy of people that expect so much from me when it comes to me being, brought up in a very known family, but then also knowing how to balance, that as well, because, I wasn't asked to be born into this life, at the end of the day. And then it's like we get so, so mixed up into like, well, she should be like this or she should be like her mama. But I was born the way I was supposed to be born. Like, like that's just how it is. I have a way of how can I say this? I have a way of leading into my mom's footsteps, but it's on a whole different path, babe. So it's like people is not going to get the same. They're going to expect it to be because of, who my mom is and what she does. But I have a whole different, it's just like, different methods, same message. You know what I'm saying? So I think that people are starting to see a side of me of knowing that, at the end of the day, I'm going to be me, and regardless of the fact I want to represent my family as best as I can, but at the end of the day, I'm not perfect. And like I said, we get so caught up in thinking that people such as myself are exempt from being, into the perfect world or being born into the perfect life because of who parents were and, given the I should say, like the silver spoon. So I can say I wasn't given the silver spoon. I was probably given the plastic silver spoon.
You probably had a wooden spoon.
My parents gave me hard. They gave me a good life, but they made me work hard and to realize, that spoiled rotten can really lead into the destruction. But then also it's about, being, as you getting older, just taking responsibilities and then knowing for yourself, like no matter what, who your family is, the celebrity status of it, we still have to live everyday life like it's just regular.
Right.
It's not perfect. So
right, it's not perfect.
Yeah, I just think that people just need to know that I'm relatable. I'm going through the same hell y'all going through, but at the same time, I'm believing in the same God as y'all.
Yeah.
And that's outside the church.
Wow, and I think that's the beautiful thing. And speaking of all of that, like we've seen so much things played out on the show that you're on Grown in Gospel, and we're so happy to see, like, as soon as I seen you in the lights, I was like, oh, she done came from behind the scenes, and she is doing her thing, and I'm just so proud of you. I'm so happy to see you just, flourishing in your own lane, coming and, being bold and, showing and being vulnerable and transparent and just showing that this is who I am, not trying to be cookie cutter perfect and, I gotta be this way because of my mom, but you still you and you're very authentic. So with that being said, like, how did you even get casted? Like, how did they contact you? How did that happen?
Well, the cast, we are really close friends. So it started, of course, with Tasha and Elijah. And, of course, them pulling everybody together. But then, of course, the connection with Carlos. Shout out to Carlos King. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
No,
hold on.
Good.
Got to go on, mommy.
Yes, listen. Let me tell you something. Nikki is a mother before anything, okay? Just so that we're clear.
Okay.
You're a mother before anything.
Okay. So, what was I saying?
You were talking about how you got casted and how you already had a relationship with everybody.
So, with the connection of Tasha and Elijah, they pleased everybody. And, of course, it was brought to Carlos. So shout out to Carlos and Kingdom Reign. They were the ones to kind of like, feed into the story of what was going on with me. Because TV is not my thing. Pray for me because it's not. I'm strictly behind the scenes type. And as growing up, it became that because I was maybe like the modest, shy type. But then as I started getting into the industry and flowing, I'm like, well, I want to be behind the scenes. I can flow better. I can become a people's person because it's hard. But yeah, so to go back to that, it's like, it was something that I wanted to give back to people because everybody think that it's such, the glitz and the glam. It's just like everything is so, Nikki got it going on. She working with her aunt. She doing this, working with her mom. She got, so it's like, yeah, I got it going on, but I don't. I got a lot of stuff going on too.
Yeah.
So it's more so of it being that I wanted to put myself out there as outside of my mom being behind the shadow. Letting people know, hey, it's me. Because, people used to think, like, I didn't know Dorinda had a daughter, until before prior, to be traveling with her. But it was like, that's just how the strange, situation being, as you can see in the show, how my storyline with my mother and I reconnecting with our relationship. I was very estranged, very distant, rebellious. So it was like all of these things I wanted to be relatable. Like, who's to say, like, this girl, Dorinda Carco's daughter, has it going on, but she ain't had no relationship with her mama. She used to do this for her mama. She never, was just in tune of wanting to be part of that life of her, or was able to accept the fact of her traveling and all of that. So I kind of turned towards the streets, all of that. So it's like, I have my people from the streets, from the hood, like, oh my God, like, you just don't know, like, you really blessing me, like, my mom and I ain't talked to each other for years, but I called her. Like, I'm going to plan to go do something with her for this Mother's Day. So it's like, I don't care what the church folks think. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, when it comes to with my situation with my husband, all of the above, it's like at the end of the day, I want to be relatable. Like, look, I'm like you. I can relate to you. You know, I can relate to what you want. I can help you in this, even with the GT movement. You know, with my women's empowerment, helping women. Like, look, you can overcome that. Like, that nigga ain't doing right, girl. Going on to the next one. Bye bye. So it's like that's the thing, because even with this GT movement, like, I wanted to just get that platform out there. So that was really kind of the urge of me, you know, putting myself out there. And just to kind of just let people know, like, hey, what's up?
Right.
I can.
And I see that you had to go through this struggle with being pressured by being one of the biggest, you know, gospel singers of all time, and being in a group with the Choir Sisters. You had a lot of pressure, and people don't know that you and your mom wasn't always eye to eye, and y'all had some things that y'all had to deal with. Would you like to share how did you overcome, or how are you still coping with, you know, bonding or making or creating a healthy relationship with your mom?
Well, the thing was with that was, I think it started as I was, you know, at the teenage years of becoming the woman, and her being on the go, on a constant go. So I think that's kind of what put the friction and the distance between us, as me growing into that one. Like, yeah, she had the talks, you know, the birds and the bees talks, and the, you know, becoming a woman type thing, and what we to expect. So it was like, but it was just in and out. It wasn't on a constant, like a solid. And it was solid because, yeah, you know, my mother and my grandmother, my aunts, they all instilled that in me. But it's like, at the same time, you only get one mother. So it's like, who else do you want to get that attention from, as you growing up from being a young lady or a young girl, then going into being a young lady, then going up to being a young woman. You know, all of these different phases of your life, you want your mother to be there, but she was on the go so much. And shout out to my dad, you know, and my grandparents. They took care of me, you know, took care of my brother and I, you know, while she was on the road. So I'm not saying like she abandoned me, but it was like, that was the direction that made me go into the streets, because it was like, you know, like growing up, I was the type, I would lie about who my mother was, because I would say, like, she had, you know, she worked, because she really did. She worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is known here in Detroit. They, as a, you know, working as a 9 to 5, she had a regular job, but then as her life, you know, career started booming with the singing thing with her sisters, it started, you know, taking off. But even when she wasn't working there, I was still making out like, yeah, my mom works a regular 9 to 5. She works, you know, Blue Cross Blue Shield, because it was the opportunist motives that people had when it was brought up, or when it was brought to attention, like, oh, this is Nikki, this is Dorinda's daughter. Oh, okay. So it's like, it's like the mood changes, and then it's like even more pressure, or like, you know, all these questions like, how does it feel? And I'm like, I'm just like you. This is not the life that I want to live, you know? So those are the, you know, the things that I dealt with as coming up. But I think that as I got older, and as it progressed, and even like out of after high school, I just had to start finding myself. And leading up to that, it was like, you know, even with the church thing, like going to church, you know, we was pretty much drugged to church, you know, forced to church. Like, those are the things that make me rebel, because it's like, okay, I want to go to church when I want to go, not because you want to go to church. But it helped me down the line, because it was like, I had to look at it like, as I, you know, as I matured and spiritually, I had to see it like, well, they had to instill something in you, so that way you would know the direction to go when you do depart. You know, even with train up a child, you know, for each to go that way, maybe, oh, they want to. So all of that, I lived that. You know what I'm saying? And then to this day, that's my testimony, because I was out there heavy, you know, not giving a care in the world. But at the same time, I knew that I had to still build that relationship, still go to church, and have a relationship for myself, you know, not just because of who my parents say that I need to have a relationship for, but for myself. So I think that helped me. And then, of course, when I had my terrible car accident, that put me even more closer to God. And then leading into that, I started with my mother because my uncle, thank God, Bishop J. Shear, he was the one that kind of seen me going in the direction of being the black sheep, So, his sheep, I was one of his sheep, and he had to pull me in. So he was the one that kind of like let me know, like, look, you need to get the girl. I see destruction coming. You need to get it going. So he like, you need to travel with your mama because, working a 9 to 5, it's easy access. Because I was always, once I get off, I'm going at home chilling and I'm going back out in the clubs, going to the streets, whatever. So I had a lot of items. Yes, pop, it,
Oh, Lord.
Like it was just built on grace, but I had to see for myself what grace was. It wasn't because when my parents was telling me about grace, but I had to see for myself grace and mercy. So being in that terrible car accident, coming from the after hour, being in the streets 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, you know what I'm saying? So all of these things, and to this day, I'm still here. But it's like I had to build that up myself and be mature enough to know, like, okay, God, I know what you're saying. Okay.
It's wow, that's amazing, and listening to your story of seeing how that it took for you to rebel, for you to come around, or it took for you to disconnect, to reconnect. And sometimes those moments are very powerful and necessary, because I know sometimes we just grow up and we just follow the leader and we just do what everybody say do and not have our own understanding of how do I feel, or does this serve me right now, or I'm seeking answers, but I hear what you're telling me, but I want to experience the world in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that it took for you on your journey to come around and experience that part so you would know what's best for you. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So with that, like even that when we go on the show, I just see that
I'm sorry. Go.
No, you're fine. On the show, I just see that you tend to be more of the peacemaker and the mediator, and it's like you're being there for Bree, and you're being there for Tasha, and you're trying to make sure Elijah just get it together. And I feel like you're the one that people come to be like, okay, Nikki, so listen, I don't know what to do. What do you think about this? Like, do you tend to be the person that always be like the peacemaker in situations, always the mediator?
I'm so glad you said that. How they edit, baby, they gonna make me look some type of way. And even these clowns that be trying to talk junk like, oh shit, I'm like, look,
right,
I'm all about trying to come together. Why would I have a women's movement and I'm just trying to just let the BS continue? Like, why wouldn't I try to get you together to try to come together, come with your differences, extend the olive tree or the olive branch, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just come together as women of God. That's how we're raised. Like, yeah, I have my moments of having my, turn up moments, but at the same time, it's all about the representation and what we supposed to represent at the end of the day. Yeah. And God is not a God of author.
Completely confused.
So, like, why not try to just mellow? And then everybody got, Elijah, that's my bro. I love him, but that's Elijah, and that's just what it is. So it's just like, just brush him off, just push him off, and he all right. But at the same time, with my girls, I'm just like, okay, let's get this thing together. Bree, you got this. You got the looks. You got the voice. Like, come on, keep it moving. Let's get it together. Tasha, Shayna, like all of that stuff, it's just all is what it is. But at the same time, that's just who I am. At the same time, back in the day, I probably would have been the one that mostly started things, but no, I'm a whole new me now, So I had to write. So that's why I'm like, even with my GT movement, it's about trying to cultivate and bring women together. Like, yes, I had my days growing up where I just didn't care for females because the estrogen levels are just all over the place. So it's like I just can't deal with that catty, he say, she say, or you like my man, or like, I've just never been a part of that. Just have never, So I just think as growing up, I just think that it's, some things get dressed, some things just need to be just,
And you grown now. You're a grown woman, and
yes.
some things you just don't have time for. And when we look on the show, we seen that there was some miscommunication with Shayna and Tasha, and it almost kind of affected their relationship that also involved her husband. But you being a friend, it's almost like you've been dragged into the situation in a way, and it's like, well, you taught your friends, so now, so how do you, where do you and Shayna stand right now? Because it seemed like it was some animosity that has not been cleared up. What's going on with that?
Just right. Just right. At the end of the day, I'm the sweetest person. I don't go on without the back and forth, man. It's just it is what it is. But I refuse to just allow people to trigger me when it comes to things that they say, the sarcastic, all of that sarcasm, like all of those things. I'd rather just lay low and just stay distant, at the end of the day. But yeah, just pray. Pray.
Wait, let me get a sip of this. Oh my goodness. Because the spirit is telling me a lot of stuff this afternoon, girl. Okay, so but it seemed like even though all that happened, they had some type of conversation, and she apologized to her because there perhaps have been some miscommunication, because it seems like what always happen in relationship is that, well, he said this and she said that, and it keep coming back to me, and we always come to these situations, but I don't want to keep being apologetic of stuff that keep involving us or you, and just something not right about what's going on. How you feel about that? Like when stuff keep happening, or a person's name is
of me trying to initiate something. Like, look, y'all, just come together, come with an understanding, instead of just having these, backlashes of what was said or whatnot. It's just about just having an understanding, and that's and always have an understanding. That's all.
And everything.
They sing it. I mean, they don't just talk about they need an understanding for their man. They need you need an understanding in all things. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that that's what it was, and I think that maybe I might be intimidated, or maybe I might have been aggressive to the way I was approached it. Like, look, y'all need to get together, talk, but it's nothing that we can do, because at the end of the day, it's gonna look like as if I'm taking sides, which I wasn't. If I'm wrong, she's wrong. I'm gonna tell her just like she's gonna tell me. Right. Person is wrong, I'm gonna tell them. But at the end of the day, we are grown, since that's being so repeatedly. We're grown, so why not talk the issue out and figure it out? Like, y'all, maybe ministering in the same place, in the same venue. Like, why not? Why be on stage exalting the people to give God praise, and then you get off stage and you got beef with this person that you know what I'm saying, with your peers, basically. Like, you're gonna cross each other. We're all in the same industry, so why not get? You know what I'm saying? That's all I was trying to come at. And that was the whole concept, as to my name being brought up as to Nikki, Tasha's friend, all of that. Mm-hmm. So that's why that was the whole thing with that, if you pay attention to all the episodes. Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
and you try your best to stay out of it. You just try your best to stay out of the and it keeps coming on. It keeps coming to you. I don't know why. I mean, you try to stay safe.
I don't do it.
but
it's really maturing me, because it takes me back to how I will react to things like that. And sometimes, I'm gonna be real. Like, it does take me back to the Nikki, to the West Side, Detroit, School Crab, Archdale Nikki. So yeah, but I'm suburban right now.
It's gonna be all right, but we gonna get it together. But I want to get into some things with you, and it's been talk of the town, because people want to know what is going on with your husband? Your husband is locked up, and people want to know, like, what is the dynamic? What is going on? People want to know why. And some things, I feel like some things are private, and I feel that because you were so vulnerable in showing your life, because a lot of people may be embarrassed of something like this, but it was like you had no shame in your. This is my man, and this is how we do things, and hey,
Yeah.
you on the phone with him, and y'all had the whole birthday party, and you know he gave you you got the ring, and it was just so beautiful. So, like, just tell me what's going on and how you feel about you and your man, your husband.
Active. So my attorney is very, very much on my head since I've been on these interviews. But he would talk about it when he come home. But I just think that and of course, you know, it's whatever, it shows, but he can, you know, elaborate more. But I just think that because like I don't know if I said this already, but it's so much. And then my mom, she's even like giving me the kudos, like, you like you so, because even she was raised under that, like, no, you can't, like, y'all can't tell where your people at, your loved ones at, if they locked up, or just say they out of town. Like, that's just how we were raised, you know, because it was always just the kept secret, like, oh no, they not supposed to do bad, oh, church folks not supposed to do bad, oh, yeah, they not do bad. So, you know, but it's like church folk that read the Bible, we had a few people that was locked up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, no, that's just, and I'm quoting the scriptures because, you know, the ones so quick to want to judge need to go and read the scriptures. So that's why I'm like, it's just so whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm like, look, this is my life. Everybody know that I love gangsters. This is nothing new. And I know exactly what I signed up for. It's nothing new. And I think that situations when it comes to me with my GT, with the whole characteristics of being a good thing, and it is about being a ride or die. You know, I don't know if it's to the concept of, shall I say, like, you know, like being married, or just being, because I've had, you know, dated guys that had did a couple years in the pen, and you know, I wrote for them. But then you got the ones, you got them having their additional side pieces and all that. So it's like all of that stuff, you know, that's part of that lifestyle. So it's like with this situation, I would be damned if I don't stick with my man, and that's my husband. You know what I'm saying? So why? You know what I'm saying? Why not? I made mistakes. I did bad, and he's still stuck with me. So why not stick with him? You know, and when I say about I don't care, because of course they edited, but I was like, I don't care what the world or you church folk think about my husband, because at the end of the day, all y'all got issues. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to highlight the importance of support, the support system. If we're supposed to be so holy thou and loving, and what God is love, Jesus is love. So why not love? Why not try to pull in the ones that's been incarcerated, and just still show them love, like no matter what, like
love too.
But hey, these people, they come out with a bang. You know, my man is degreed now. You know what I'm saying? So how many of y'all niggas that I'm sorry.
Girl, go ahead. But that's your husband. Talk about your husband.
Street smart and book smart. So how best can you get with that? You know, and just and you know, he's younger than me, so that's another thing. I am a cougar, y'all. So that's wrong with that. So yes. Know what I signed up for, but that's because he lied about his age. Yeah, he wanted this GT. He wanted yes,
he did. And one thing I love about you, and what I see, I look in your eyes and I can see it. You love your man, and it's like I felt like it's something with Dion that you was just so connected by, that he treated you. I feel that he treated you in such a way that you probably haven't experienced with all the other past relationships. I feel like it's something with Dion that you that is here, and it's like, you know what? If you got me, I got you, and I just see all the love in your eyes, and you just love your husband.
That's facts, and that's what it is. Because I think I said it in another interview. I was like, That's why I don't care, because I'm like, this man has treated me better than any of these clowns I've been with. And I'm my age, they were older. And I don't know, that's probably why I got him young, because I used to like date older guys. Those have reversed. Like, okay, but he doesn't carry himself like him. Like, we like what, 7-8 years apart. So it's like this man been on his own since he was 15. And like, just with his street name, Fast Cash, that's because he was always about getting his money. It was a young, and being in school hustle is about doing his chores when he was younger. He was about getting his money. Till going in the streets, he was about getting his money. And the man is smart. That's why I thank God. Like, oh, wait.
Oh my God. So I know that it's so much going on, and it's so much that you're dealing with that with the things that are legal and some things that you can't speak on. But do you know if there's going to be a time where he comes out, or you still dealing with things that are legal?
Yeah, he's coming home.
And we gonna speak.
We gonna speak. Yeah, yes. Some things is in the works. That's why I can't really,
right?
Because it's all
right. So
and then the first time, everything with the process of me adjusting to the moving thing and all of that. Like, it's just like I gotta be ready. Because I gotta be more of those things.
Yeah, because when he come home.
And yeah, let me clear this up too. Let me say this, because people was like, why is she setting up this scene to be on the phone? First of all, he was on restrictions because he had got into some trouble. So keep praying for him, y'all, because he be done battling demons while he's in there. But he got into some trouble, so he was on restrictions during that time frame of taping. So I couldn't get the video. So that's why y'all wasn't able to see him like y'all are on the other shows. You're able to see their face at least. But he couldn't, he had his video privileges taken away. So that's why it was like, but still I was going to I always set the mood. I got to set the ambiance. So that way I can give him that, that mental, because it's all about the mental state too. You gotta set
and they need that.
And it's like people that don't know about, not to say this is a good thing to know about, but it's like if you don't know how to support someone that's incarcerated, then you got to know it takes a lot. It takes your mental, it takes your physical, it takes a lot out of me to try to keep him and stay on the phone. Like, I'm not the type to talk on the phone. And he be tripping and cutting out every now and then. He's like, babe, like, what the, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's 15 minutes. Why you can't talk to me? I'm like, babe, I got to do this, I got to do that. So it's very challenging. That's why I'm like, this stuff is not easy. Moving out my house, at the time, because it was so much going on, traveling, the blessings of being at my parents' house with my kids, because traveling, my mom and they're some busy bodies. They stay booked. You know what I'm saying?
Booked to the capacity, like Henry Price.
They booked, okay? This is just not a granny, typical grandma staying at home. Like, they stay booked, so it was a challenge with me juggling, being able to try to hold up a house and, manage a house, as well as trying to take care of kids. And I just wasn't going to have anybody taking care of my kids. I'm sorry. So if my dad is able to help me, the live-in babysitter, then thank you, God, for my father and, my brother that looks out, and my other, side villages. But those are the challenges that I had. Those are the sacrifices that y'all don't see that I had to deal with. But, now's a new day, so,
Oh my gosh. And people don't know that you're the first child of
granddaughter.
The first granddaughter of the Clarksons. And it's like, people always see all the other kids, but people forget that you're the first one, and you set the tone for all of this. So they gotta put some spec on your name.
Right.
They gotta put some spec on Nikki's name. And I know you have a great relationship. How's your relationship, and how do you communicate with Kiki? Because people always see her doing her thing. We love Kiki.
That's the crazy thing. The crazy thing with her is, and I say it all the time, like, that's probably why I didn't want to sing, because I was paving the way for her. Because, it wasn't no passion, but it was like with her, it was all passion, because we would be it went from us starting off wanting to do hair. We would have this do in the basement where we had this hair salon set up called Nikki's and Kiki's Hair Salon, and
Wow.
that was the thing, the flow of where we was trying to go. Like, okay, is this where we want to go? Is this where we want to be? And then it started leading into the brushes turning into microphones. And then, Kiera, she's doing her thing, and then of course watching the movies from the Sister Acts to the all of these movies that really brought her up into that passion. And of course her favorite artists, the Brandies, all of them, like that whole pattern, like that's what took off. And I just thank God, because Kiera used to want to hang with me.
Y'all got a lot of comments.
It's so heartbreaking, because one day I can remember it was like we would be together and it would be like, okay, Key, you got, because I didn't want to introduce her to that lifestyle. So it was like, I give her that push, like, okay, cuz I'm gonna go, I'll see you later, this and that. And I think the very last time that happened, we was together, and she had to go to church, but I wasn't going, so I had to drop her off. But she wanted to come with me where I was going. I was like, no, Key, just go. You gotta go in church. And it was like I was kind of pushing her, but it was like, I ain't gonna take credit like I pushed her on her purpose, but I was pushing her because I'm like, I don't want you to be around this smoke. I don't want you to be around the liquor. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to be around none of that. So I just thank God, like, to this day, that she has taken off the way she's taken off, because I just feel as though, like, if she would have been smoking blunts and drink, like, I don't know, that would have been so much on me. So I'm like, it's just 100 for me, like, and we don't talk about it as much, but it'll be brought up in certain interviews or whatnot, or whatever. But it's just amazing. So that's why I'm like, that's my baby forever. Yeah. She has been off as representing with full capacity of the family.
Right, definitely pushing into that next generation. And what's the baby name? Her brother's son.
Jacob and Callie,
singing his behind off with your auntie Karen. Yep. And that's just like, wow, the legacy is just going on and on and on. And we just see that. It's just so beautiful just watching you guys just do y'all thing, and just, being in the family, and just, oh my gosh, it's just beautiful. And speaking of family, we know that the Clark sisters had their big movie that was on Lifetime, and that was, I think, produced also by Dr. Holly.
Yeah.
And we've seen the whole dynamic with how the sisters came about, and the your great grandmother, Dr. Maddie Mark Clark.
My grandmother.
Yes, your grandmother, and how she instilled in them, and made sure they got up early and sang. They didn't have tape recorders back then, and they had to get up and be on cue. And we see how they came about and who they are today, which is beautiful. But sometimes we don't really talk about the things they had to go through, because you also have another aunt, Denise, and a lot of people don't really hear too much about her because of the disconnect. So where do you have a relationship with her? Do your moms and aunts still talk to her and everything?
Yeah, it was like, texting here and there, just, hey, how you doing? And that's that. But, she doesn't stay here, so it's like, that's just pretty much what it is. But it's not as strange as people think, but that's what they went through at the time. But of course, as they gotten older, some grudges are held, and then some is not, But at the end of the day, we still love her.
And all you can do is love, because, we have a lot of family that, we may not see each other every day, and we sometimes we may not talk for a long time, but whenever we do meet, it's like if we was just talking yesterday, or and sometimes we go in different spaces in life, and we just learn to love people for where they are and just understand how people are wired, and I think we have that in every family. And I think that once again, I commend you guys for just being so vulnerable and sharing your lives, because there's a whole lot of stuff going on that people ain't talking.
Absolutely. That's why I'm like, y'all seen the Car Sisters movie. Wait till you see the GT movies. Like,
okay. They're gonna gang, yes. And like, we just
raw stuff, y'all.
Yes. It's sensitive because we dealing with real people, real lives.
It was real. That was real. Everything my grandmother went through with her man, all the above, like with the church, all of that. Yeah, it was true.
So let me ask you this: how do you feel about between me and you? How do you feel about your aunt Twinkie and her allowing Beyonce to use in the Holy Wheel, like the whole thing, and everybody was going crazy and like I was at least crazy. How do you feel?
That just shows that just shows how church people need to mature. Like, if they're using their song, apparently they're listening to it. So apparently it's doing something to their spirit. See, that's why it never.
And they chose them to bless it. They blessed y'all.
We're talking about, and it's like it's the whole secular world. We're not just talking about the Beyonces, the Jay-Z. We're talking about the Misties. We're talking about the Mary J. We talking about 3 top queens that produced their movie. Go Google that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it has to be an effect. You Brought the Sunshine was played in the club
and your aunt was inspired by Stevie Wonder, and back in the day that was secular.
And it's like these people do not do their research. You know what I'm saying? Like, and of course, like I say, Jay-Z, they go back to dig into the songs from back in the day. Higher was from Higher.
Yeah. And people don't know that they were already being sampled already.
Come on, pastors. Come on, the ones that be trying to pull it into their sermons. Like, at least they're listening to these things. They're listening to them, apparently. So
they're not just affected. I think what people fail to realize is that we're not called to just for the church. People outside the 4 walls of the church. And they better be glad that people outside the church are listening, because that be the struggle of trying to reach the people to be saved or to be filled or anything of that. It's not about just touching the people that's what's familiar, but the people that don't know God or don't know what it means, And so that's beautiful that they get to tap into that mainstream.
That's it. It's outside the 4 walls. Like, church folk, y'all good. Let me go to the world. Like, I got this saying: if I don't ever embrace or inspire any of y'all church folk, just know I got the world. Please believe. All my texts, they may not be coming from the church folk. They're coming from the work, from my street friends, from the ones that be up in the club, like, pretty much every night, and on Saturday night heavy, and still want to be like, oh, I'm gonna try to go to church. Nikki, you going? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's tradition. That's that generation from the tradition back in the day. Like, yeah, my grandmother, like that type of phase. And then a little bit, I say my mama's, they're in that generation because she has her little mamas. But then she's adapting because she's seeing how impactful she is to these young ones that's coming up. You know what I'm saying? There's people that has young ones that have suicidal stories. So why wouldn't I still hear be, you know what I'm saying? Be the song to help you. I don't care what age. Suicidal doesn't have an age on it.
Wow. And I just commend you once again for just being so real and so authentic and just being an open book and just you have this spirit of this is how it is, and it's nothing about you that is faking nothing. I love that.
I can't see it.
I love that. And it's like people also don't know that because you are come from this dynasty of gifts, you have your gift too. You can actually sing, and you can sing, And do you guys? I know you working on something. Let the people know you working on something. You about to put something out.
Are you prophesying, girl?
Listen, I feel so
No.
shout out.
Well, of course, let me go on and plug that because that's about to be plugged a lot. But of course, the first episode y'all heard on when it goes into my scene on the first episode, which is
you was singing. That was a song.
No, not me singing. I wrote it. That's even big, right? Say that's bigger. That's bigger that I wrote it.
Writing is good. Yes.
Next round, because I'm doing another song. It's going to be a part 2 because this is the GT anthem, which is what y'all heard. She's a good thing, which is sung by Tasha Page.
Oh, okay.
Laid them bars, and I wrote it. So
She sounded different on it.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess because it's more of a vibe versus we so used to Tasha singing gospel music and almost traditional gospel, and now when she was singing that, it was more like a little R&B type of vibe, type of thing going on.
But it was nothing. That's why she's very flexible, universal with that.
Yes.
Like very diverse. So it just died right to it, and that's why I wanted to kind of give. And my brother, let me give him a shout out. My brother, which is my real brother, he Jack's the one that produced it. So y'all tip it up a bit, but you're gonna get the real deal as well.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful, and you're doing big things, and we're so happy for you, and we're so proud. And speaking of big things, you have your stuff called Good Thing. Let us know about Good Thing. What you got going on with that?
Yes, that's my baby. It's my baby. It's the women's empowerment, women's movement. I wanted to just let these women know, like, look, I went through the same thing you went through. Like, we're talking about young adults, even with, peer pressure, rejection, when it comes to you liking this certain boy. And it's like, okay, because we got to, even though our mind is not on that, like, he should be chasing me. But at the same time, that's kind of how the concept of Good Thing came, is when I was, in my faith, dating out in the world and, doing this and this, this guy come around and it's like, okay, I'm feeling you, and then he do something dumb and I'll be like, he ain't good. He ain't worth this good thing. He missed out on the good thing. So on to the next. Let's go. So that's just pretty much how it came, not knowing that Good Thing was in the Bible. Because of course, in that time of my life, I wasn't thinking about the Bible like that, or reading the Bible like that, shall I say. So it was like that had to kind of put in the confirmation, like revelation, like, oh my God, she used to play with this word in the world. So now she can apply it on a more spiritual, side of it. Like, okay, so God was really, oh my God. I'm sorry, Day.
No, you're good.
Sorry, Johnny. Are you recording this?
Yes, I am.
Oh my God, you just gonna have to.
No, you're fine. Listen, this is the real. We're good.
Oh man, you gonna save this on live, huh?
Yeah,
I'm
save it.
Okay, so it was like, playing with it, because I was always the type that was kind of hard for me to, like I said, it was hard for me to deal with females. So this was something new. God was really working with me. It was really brewing me up. Like, okay, you want to talk about Good Thing, but there's more to it than about just applying it to like a guy finding you or a guy being interested in you. What you gonna do with it? So I was kind of playing with it like, okay, I can do a women's empowerment, encouraging women. Like, look, I've been through the same mess as you when it comes to men, when it comes to just trying to find yourself, even if in as a young woman. And it, like with being in school, you might feel like you want to give up because things are not going your way, but keep going, keep pushing, at the same time. And it's not just all, it's women, but it's like it's all diverse of life, like married, single, go-getters, independent, divorce. And then some women just might not want to be bothered with no nigga at all. They just want to be by themselves forever. You still a good thing. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So the whole concept of it is to cultivate, pull women together, even with shout out to my sister Tierra with the faith, food, and fitness, movement, pulling women together with these different, panel sessions and having an understanding about your faith as in yourself and how your faith is, how you involve faith and how you apply it to life. But then also with food, being fed spiritually, but then also, naturally, of course. But then also the fitness part of it, because of course, it pays to be nice and fit, but then also it's all about wealth and health as well, because you got to keep that heartbeat going. And I think with that, with my weight loss journey, it all applied to that because, diabetes running on both sides of my family. So I had to kind of switch it up. I was weighing off 70. So I'm like, hey, I got to get back in these ones. This wasn't it. So it was like I had to apply my mental with, with what's really needed to take place. So I just think all of that with the GT movement that comes together, like bringing life, even if you're not heavy, you want to tone up, you know what I'm saying? It's all about feeling sexy. It's all about the confidence in yourself first. It's not about trying to look good for this man. It's about looking good for yourself first.
And I'm so glad that you are doing things, and knowing that you're doing stuff, especially as Black women, like we want to lift each other up, and we want to help one another. And I commend you for setting the foundation to reach out and help other women and do their thing. And people really gotta encourage women that help other women. So I commend you for doing your thing, and I love that about you. And you out there grinding, you doing your thing, and I love that. And so I'm gonna give you your flowers now. I'm gonna give you your flowers because I feel like some people we gotta shine that light on the things, the positive things, and not just the mess and the things, but the things that you put your work in, and that's something that you put your heart in, and you care so much, and you have a passion for that stuff. So I thank you again. And it looks like it may be in the talks of doing season 2. Are you gonna be on board there? Because I know you like the TV thing is not you, but the fans is gonna want to see what's going on in Nikki live and what man come home, what's gonna happen. So what you thinking about?
I don't know. Yeah, I just gotta stay tuned because we don't even know.
Right.
Why do I talk like that? These retainers got me talking so dumb. I just didn't want to be a part of nothing boring, and then I didn't want to be a part of nothing fake. I didn't want to be a part of none of that. So when I decided this, I'm like, okay, because even with Carlos, like I wanted to always work with him, but as a BTS queen, like working on set or production with him, not knowing that I would be part of his, his production as in on the TV as a cast. So this is all new to me, but I wanted, if we do or don't, but I just wanted people to see me for myself and to support. Like I'm slowly getting myself out here just trying to brand. I'm planning on content, photo shoots, so that way you guys can be more intrigued and appeal to my brand and what I got working on, what I'm working on. It's hard. I'm getting out this shell because it's like, oh my God, the roles are reversing. Like I am being what I am for my, what I'm used to being with the girls, what I'm used to doing for the girls is like it's turn girls are. And it's like, it's easy for me to do it for somebody else than opposed to do it for myself, if that makes sense. Now on the glitch, I gotta get let's get the website going back updated, like you know what I'm saying. So it's like that's what I really wanted this platform to be about. I didn't want it to look like as if she about mess. And I keep it real. I talk junk. Y'all heard me talk some junk on there, and I'll probably said some things, but that's just what it is, and however they edit it. But I knew what I signed up for. So it's like, at the end of the day, I just want y'all to know, like, look, I'm going to be me regardless. This TV stuff or not. I don't.
Yes, and we see.
I don't need.
Right, because some people just want clown. But that's nothing new to you. But I feel that this week we're looking on. I think we got one more episode that's gonna come out, and we're gonna see how that happens. So we make sure we're gonna tune in. We're gonna support Nikki, and we're gonna support her brand, and we're going to make sure we see and tune in and follow her and do all the things. Can you leave us out with something? Out of all the things we talked about, anything that you gravitated to, or anything you want to leave the audience?
Excuse me. Really I don't want to sound so cliche, but I just think that it's important because I think I wouldn't have got this far without the relationship with God. My relationship with God, not but based on what my parents, like I stated before, but I think that it's important to maintain that for yourself. And sometimes it kind of would detour you. Church folk can detour you from not wanting to go to church. But and my mother is coming out of me, but I know that even with the online church thing, like, no, just get up and go to church for yourself, and I just think that's just so important. And I'm saying that because now I'm starting to get in the groove of it, because I wasn't going to church like I was supposed to be. And it had to take for my mama to be like, girl, like, because, I would be at church with her throughout the week. So I'm like, let me get a break on Sunday.
Right.
But now I know it's important, like, of course, on Sunday or Saturday, however y'all relation. But just maintain our relationship with God, because without him, I wouldn't be looking like this.
And guess what? You look good. and I like that hair. That hair that's your signature. That's your look, girl. That's your look. I love it.
I'm ready to pull her off.
Okay, me too. I got a nasty shortcut in. Yes, but yes, it looks so good. I love, like, it just brings everything out. It speaks your personality. And, like, we just love seeing you. We just love seeing what you got going on. And, I'm going to stay tuned to everything that you got going on. We're going to keep connected. And, I want to thank you again for being a part of JohnaeTv, and just being real, and we just sit and we just have a conversation, and people need to hear that it's things going on in the gospel world, and they are human, and y'all not nobody. Like, you be you, and who you are, and you're very authentic, and we just love that about you. So I want to thank you again for being here. I'm gonna give you a virtual hug. And yes, and we're going to connect again at some point, and tell Tasha to call me, because she next. Okay. We got to get into some things. But I want to thank you so much. So,
thank you. I love you.
I love you too. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, y'all. Thank y'all. Mwah.